Evan Doyle was just looking to kill time. It was past midnight, and he was scrolling an obscure forum called Nostalgic Echoes, where users posted about forgotten shows from their childhoods. One thread caught his attention. "Anyone remember Candle Cove?" The replies were bizarre. One user recalled it as a pirate show, but creepy. Another remembered puppets with real human teeth. A third said they cried every time they watched it, but couldn't look away. Evan's stomach turned. He remembered Candle Cove too, sort of. A foggy harbor, a girl named Janice, and puppets that didn't blink. He never remembered watching it with anyone. It felt like something he dreamed, but with sharp detail. And then one user posted this. "My mom said when I used to watch it, I was just staring at static." Evan couldn't stop thinking about it. The name Janice echoed in his head all day. That night, he called his older brother, Mark. "You did watch Candle Cove," Mark said. "You were obsessed, but Mom freaked out. You'd sit way too close to the screen and talk like..." Someone was answering you back. That night, Evan dug out his family's old box of VHS tapes from storage. To his shock, one tape was labeled Candle Cove, 1988. No handwriting, just faded block letters. He played the tape on an old TV in the basement. It began with static, then a foghorn. Slowly, the screen cleared to reveal a girl standing at a dock. No music, just low humming. Her mouth moved, but the audio whispered something else. "Are you still watching, Evan?" He jumped. That couldn't have been right. He rewound it. Her lips didn't even sync with the whisper. The tape ended with an image of a puppet wearing a sailor's cap with impossibly wide eyes and a stitched mouth. It tilted its head. Slowly. The footage cut to black. The next day, Evan posted a short clip of the tape to Reddit asking, "Does anyone else remember this?" The thread blew up. Dozens of users said they remembered that exact puppet. One person replied, "That's the skin taker. He used to tell Janice her skin didn't fit right." Another messaged Evan privately. A woman named Lori Hensley. "I work in psychiatric care," she wrote. "We have patients, some children, who describe this exact show. They talk about Channel 58 and the girl Janice. One said she watches him through the screen." Evan asked how that was possible. Lori replied simply, "The show finds them." Things escalated quickly. That night, Evan was jolted awake by a loud buzzing from his living room. The TV had turned itself on. Channel 58. There was no such channel. On screen, Janice again. But this time, her face was wrong, blurred, as if scrubbed off. She sat beside the skin taker, who now had a child-sized arm in his lap, stroking it. Then Janice turned to the screen. "We need more skin." The TV powered off on its own. The next morning, Evan found tiny scratches across his arms. He hadn't sleepwalked in years. Or, at least, that's what he told himself. Evan began receiving anonymous emails, each with links to corrupted clips, each more disturbing than the last. Janice screaming without sound as the puppets loomed closer. The skin taker whispering into the camera, repeating, "You saw us before you had eyes." One video showed what looked like Evan's childhood living room, in grainy VHS quality, while a voice behind the camera whispered, "You were ours first." He unplugged everything, deleted all the files. But every time he turned around, the TV was on again. No signal, just static. But sometimes the static moved like it was breathing. Evan went to visit his mother. She refused to speak about Candle Cove at first, but eventually she said, "You weren't the same after that show. You used to talk in your sleep about going back to the ship. You tried to cut out your teeth. That's when we burned the tapes." Evan showed her the one he'd found. She backed away. "That was never ours. That's not our handwriting." Evan posted a final message to the forum. "Don't look for Candle Cove. It's not a show. It's a place. It broadcasts memories that don't belong to you. You remember it because it remembers you. He vanished 2 days later. His apartment smelled of salt water. The bathtub was filled with seaweed. The TV was still on, stuck on channel 58. The screen showed Janice waving, mouthing something silent. A forensic technician said the screen emitted an unregistered frequency, one used in military transmission decades ago, but no one could trace the source. In 1988, 3 children were hospitalized after claiming to be part of Candle Cove. In 2005, a man in Germany murdered his neighbor while shouting, "Get off the ship, Janice." There is still no record of Channel 58 anywhere in FCC archives. But every few years, the signal returns. Mark Halpern, a 32-year-old freelance videographer, was documenting an abandoned office building for a client. The interior was empty, walls yellowed, lights flickering, a place time forgot. As he walked through a hallway, his foot caught on a cracked tile. He stumbled, and the world glitched. He didn't fall down. He fell through the floor, through the walls, through the seams of reality. When he hit the ground, he wasn't in the office anymore. Mark stood in a vast space, endless yellow rooms, stained carpets, buzzing fluorescent lights that never flickered off. No windows, no doors, just corners. Turn after turn, every room looked the same. The air smelled of mold and static. His footsteps felt louder than they should. He called out, no answer. He walked. The rooms stretched on. He placed a pen mark on a wall to track his movement. 10 minutes later, he found the same mark. He had gone in a circle, but the path was straight. Mark began hearing sounds, not just the constant fluorescent buzz, breathing, but it didn't come from him. He froze. The sound stopped. He turned a corner and saw a shadow vanish behind a wall. Something was watching him. Something not human. He ran. No destination, just away. The space behind him felt alive, the air heavier. Every turn looked identical, but every corridor felt slightly more wrong. He noticed now, the walls were subtly changing, the yellow deeper, the hum sharper, and the shadows longer. Mark found a hallway slightly darker than the others. Its walls were cracked. The buzzing stopped. Here, the silence was oppressive. As he stepped through, the carpet squished underfoot, wet. The scent of rot filled the air. Mold crept up the walls like veins. A distant moan echoed through the halls. Then, a shape in the distance. Tall, thin, still. Mark stepped back, but the thing twitched. Limbs too long, head tilted. A movement not meant for human joints. He ran behind him, the wet thuds of something giving chase. Mark ducked into a tight hallway and pressed himself against the wall. The sound passed. Whatever it was, it didn't rely on sight. It listened. He remembered stories, creepy posts, urban legends. If you no clip out of reality in the wrong places, you end up in the backrooms. He used to laugh at them, but now he was here, and something else was too. After what felt like hours, Mark found a door. A real door. Metal, rusted, cracked open. On the other side, darkness. A narrow staircase spiraled downward. He hesitated, but the yellow walls behind him began to bend, literally ripple, like breathing lungs. He had no choice. He descended into level 1. Level 1 was dimmer, industrial, concrete walls. The fluorescent buzz returned, but now it was distant, intermittent. Storage shelves lined the corridors. Some filled with objects, shoes, photo frames, a phone from the 1990s, a baby monitor still transmitting static. Mark found a half-eaten sandwich on a shelf, still fresh. Someone else had been here. Then he saw it, a camera, modern, recording light blinking. He hit play, heavy breathing, a man's voice trembling. It sees movement. Don't run. Don't blink loud. Don't cry. The recording ended with a sudden crash and a scream. Mark began writing notes. Rules: don't make noise. Don't trust rooms that look too clean. Always feel the carpet. If it's dry, you're safe. If the buzzing stops, hide. Never go into vents. He wandered into a hallway of open office cubicles. On the walls, hundreds of Polaroids. Each showed a different face, but all were smiling, wide and unnatural. He looked closer. One photo showed his face from minutes ago. He dropped it. Behind him, something whispered, "Keep smiling." Mark lost track of time. He stopped feeling hunger. No sleep. The place looped and shifted. He would find a staircase only for it to lead him back to level 0. He marked doors. They disappeared. He screamed, only to hear himself screaming before he opened his mouth. He wasn't alone. He never was. But the other things didn't want to talk. They wanted him to become like them. In one room he found a mirror, but the reflection didn't mimic him. It stood still, smiling. The video cuts to found camcorder footage. Mark is seen walking aimlessly, eyes hollow, face dirty, mouth twitching upward. His voice whispers, "If anyone sees this, don't try to find me. The backrooms aren't a place. They're a trap stitched between thoughts. Once you fall in, it learns you, and it doesn't want to let you go." He stares into the lens. Behind him, something slithers from the shadows. The camera drops. Static. Over 300 videos have appeared online claiming to be from the backrooms. None have been verified. Some show people running. Others show nothing but walls, buzzing lights, and crying. One audio file contains this: "It's not the walls that trap you. It's the idea. Once you think about the backrooms long enough, you're already in." Rachel King, a 28-year-old investigative blogger, received a strange email from a fan named Marie Lawson. The subject line read, "Don't open the attachment." Attached, a .jpg file simply named Smile.jpg. In the message, Marie rambled about nightmares, paranoia, and the dog that smiles. She begged Rachel not to open the file but pleaded for her to investigate its origin. Rachel shrugged it off as another internet hoax. She replied politely and archived the message. That night, she had the first nightmare. Rachel stood in a dim hallway, lit only by a red, flickering bulb. Ahead, a figure crouched in the shadows. It was a Siberian husky, but something was wrong. Its eyes were too human. Its grin too wide, as if split with a knife. It didn't move. It just stared, smiling. When Rachel woke up, her jaw was clenched so hard her teeth had cracked. She deleted the original email, but the dreams continued. Obsessed, Rachel began digging. Forum after forum mentioned Smile.jpg, mostly as an urban myth. Supposedly, it first appeared on a 1992 Usenet board, crashed computers, and drove people insane. Victims all described the same dream, a grinning husky in a dark room. Most were dismissed as trolls, but she found one name repeated, Dr. Althea Rowley, a former psychologist who investigated early internet psychosis. She had gone missing in 2007. No body ever found. Rachel finally tracked Marie Lawson down. She lived in a rundown apartment on the edge of town. Marie wouldn't open the door, speaking only through the chain lock. Her voice trembled. "You saw him, didn't you? In your dream?" Rachel nodded. Marie showed her forearms. They were covered in bite marks, deep, raw, festering. "He doesn't bite in the dream. He waits, but the longer you look, the more real he becomes." She whispered one last thing before slamming the door. "Never spread the image. That's how it lives." Rachel brought in a tech expert friend, Jared, to analyze the image Marie originally sent. Jared, curious, opened smile.jpg despite her warning. It's just a JPEG. Low res. Weird composition though. There's metadata here. Wait. He froze. Lines of corrupted code appeared in the file's data. Pass it on. Spread the word. Dream or die. Jared laughed it off until that night. He had the dream. And the next morning, he was found dead. Suicide. Jaw ripped open. Rachel found a burned CD in Marie's package labeled Smile Audio. She played it, at first static, then a low growl, layered laughter, reversed voices. She reversed the track and heard it. Look at him. Don't close your eyes. It's not a dream if you bleed. Spread the file. Her nose began to bleed. The image of the dog flashed behind her eyelids every time she blinked. Rachel tried staying awake for 48 hours. The dreams began slipping into her waking life. She hallucinated smiles in reflections, dog fur in her bathtub drain. Her own dog wouldn't go near her room. She set up cameras while she slept. The footage showed her sitting upright, eyes open, smiling grotesquely at the corner of her bedroom for hours. One frame captured something behind her, a tall, hunched, canine-like silhouette with human teeth. Digging into Dr. Rowley's lost research, Rachel found archived tapes of her interviewing early Smile JPG victims. One woman screamed mid-session and clawed her eyes out. Another begged for her own death. One man claimed, "The dog is a gatekeeper. When you look at it, it uploads into you. You're not just cursed, you're hosting it. You either spread it, or it spreads you." Rachel recorded a vlog. Pale, gaunt, eyes swollen. "If you see this, don't search for the file. Don't try to download it. He wants to be seen. Every time someone views him, he grows stronger. I think he's digital now. He doesn't need sleep, doesn't need memory. He just needs data. And dreams." The video ends with Rachel smiling into the camera, eyes lifeless, mouth too wide. Behind her, the faint growl of a husky. In 2015, an unmarked USB drive was mailed anonymously to 5 horror YouTubers. 4 of them deleted the contents. One uploaded a blurred image titled Smile Reseed JP. Days later, his channel was wiped. He hasn't posted since. The last video on his account was a looped phrase, distorted and low. Spread the word.